The Great Recession is almost 10 years behind us. We see reports of economic growth and prosperity. The goal of this project is to provide an economic outlook for Philadelphia by looking back into history and looking forward into the future. We will explore several data categories and layers of demographics and provide a comparison with other cities. The goal is to determine if there is a big boom in Philadelphia's future. This type of project turns out to be a rather big undertaking, so it will be submitted in 2 parts. Philadelphia has a very rich history, from colonial times to the current day. This city is the home of several large national corporations and world-class universities. There is depth and breadth of talent and leadership here. The economic ground here appears fertile. Philadelphia is one of the largest cities in the United States, with a very busy seaport. Like many large cities with heavy industrial history, the 20th century brought a lot of change: job loss, population decline, higher taxes, and widespread poverty. The goal is to answer, is a big boom in Philadelphia's future? There's no shortage of data, and there are many existing reports. News media also have regular coverage of this topic. We aim to sift through much of this and create some visualizations to help make our own prediction. We will compare Philadelphia with cities that are in its neighborhood, and we will compare Philadelphia with cities of roughly the same population size. This creates 2 rather diverse groups considering population, location, industry, demographics, and urban personality. Early inspiration came from Philadelphia and Incomplete Revival. It provides a lot of background and history. The report paints a bleak picture, but it also hints at a bright future. I like how their charts show trends over long time periods. Brookings is well known for their economic and political analysis and reporting. I found these stacked line charts interesting, especially their use of a shared x-axis. This map is cool, but clicking on the cities does not reveal any additional detail. The major sources of data are the government. The data came in different formats and by multiple ways. The API approach is really nice because it allows for tailoring queries to get exactly what's needed. This was helpful when exploring and scaling out from concept to project. Economic and population data are time series. The best visualization presentation for time series is often a line chart because it shows a historical trend from which we can begin to make projections. We use bar charts for comparing summarized values across cities. So far, the data for this project has not been particularly messy, but is definitely not tidy. We are aiming to adhere to the principles of tidy data as best as possible. As such, we've employed transformations and twists, melts and merges in multiple places. A series ID is a classic case of multiple variables stored in one column. The sequence presented here shows how we took the raw JSON, extracted the observations, parsed and decoded the series ID, and transformed this mess into tidy data. The objective of line charts for time series data is to gain perspective into the trends. Some of the charts look nice, and we can show some comparisons. But once we add a few too many lines, it gets kind of messy. We need a better way to present the time series effectively in a group. The IR report positions the percent change of unemployment rate from before the Great Recession and now as an indicator of revival. I thought this was insightful and would be a good measure to include in this report, especially when comparing Philadelphia with other cities. I like presenting unemployment rate in a line chart. But remember, the line chart with 6 of these time series was really messy. Here with the percent change in unemployment bar chart, we use small multiples for the time series of unemployment rate of each of the cities being compared. Plotting each time series with the national rate serves 2 purposes. First, to compare the city with the national rate, and second, the inclusion of the common element provides a means to help compare across cities without having explicit or combined plots. The national rate acts like an additional axis. Most cities follow the general population trend, up. However, the industrial city saw a major dip in population as manufacturing jobs vanished. The IR report discusses this and other factors which shape Philadelphia's current business and labor landscape. It seems logical to think that as the population shifts, the labor force would follow. However, there are less visible factors affecting the big picture. So, this is an incomplete picture. We cannot draw too many conclusions from just population and employment alone. Philadelphia has seen a lot of tough times. The post-industrial era has been a mixed bag of population changes, economic changes, and rebuilding starts and stops. The indication is that we have bounced back from the Great Recession, which is a good starting point for what's next. Additional dimensions of data need to be explored. We need to understand more of the underlying social picture, as well as the labor force characteristics and government policy. The Brookings Metro Monitor dashboard is inspiration for this project's ultimate submission.